Welcome back everyone to another Hearthstone video. Today we'll be analyzing the Secret Karazhan Hunter deck. If you want to know the entire deck composition, scroll down to the link below to my Hearthstone page. My starting hand is not as playable as it should be. It's a small risk to send the others back for better, but it's entirely worth it in the end. Luckily, I top deck my Fiery Bat as a 1-drop. Instead of using the coin to throw my Kings of the League, I save it for a potential curve gap around turn 3 to 4. Warrior has great removal spells, weapons, and even minions. Fiery War Axe being the best early game removal of them all. Its low cost and 3 attack can easily erase almost any 1 to 3 cost minion that your opponent can throw at you. Even though his weapon still has 1 durability left, I am forced to use Kings of the League to attempt to gain board control, or at least break his axe and deal damage. So far, we are too early into the game to tell who's winning, but I have more health, approximately the same amount of cards, and because he didn't take board control this turn, that gives me the advantage of the first minion placement. Instead of placing a minion, I use my freezing trap in hopes to set up my battle cry for my Avian Watcher next turn. This would have allowed me to throw down a nicely sized taunt and to temporarily remove the next enemy minion that attacks. Freezing Trap is effective against isolated large minions, but if your opponent has multiple small minions available, it dramatically reduces its effectiveness. Overall, the Freezing Trap is one of the best secrets of all time. This setup strategy normally would have worked, except for Warrior has more class cards than usual that have charge, such as Grommash Hellscream, Kor'kon Elite, and Alexstrasza's Champion. Azure Drake is great because of its spell damage, card draw, and it's a dragon. It fits well in any tempo or mid-range decks. Sir Finley can be used to acquire a situational hero power for what you need. Its stable body for a low cost makes it ideal for early game control. My deck is a mid-range secret hunter made to be effective at starting small snowballs around turns 5 and 8, so I need board control as soon as possible to start locking down damage, especially against a warrior. He seems to be particularly effective at removing my minions as soon as they hit the board. There's almost nothing I can do about this other than continue throwing larger and larger minions until I'm able to gain a snowball on my side of the board. One of the 3 staple legendaries, Sylvanas Windrunner, sits among Ragnaros and Alexstrasza as one of the best cards of all time. Her stats are a little weak for the cost, but the threat of her Death Rattle is terrifying for tempo decks, and without Silence played commonly in this meta, she can wreck plans or combos for your opponent easily. I was forced to play into his Sylvanas in case he played a taunt minion to control his power over the board. Death Rattles activate in the order that the cards were played. Using this knowledge, I attempted to give him one of my hyenas. Unluckily, I failed a 2 out of 3 roll. Now placed in a difficult situation, I'll have to fight uphill to regain board control after losing my Avian Watcher. It comes down to how much I'm willing to risk and what the rewards of the risk are. I could play it safe with Call of the Wild, or I could go for a high-risk, high-reward play by playing my Kings of the League and pushing for a situational minion. Unfortunately, I draw my Savannah Highmane. This won't help me in my situation. This has put me in trouble. I could try to use my Deadly Shot to snipe the Avian Watcher, but it's risky and mildly rewarding. If I play safe, it might not be enough to win back the board again. Luckily, my snipe hits perfectly where I need it to. Now I throw my Sir Finley. I'm looking for a stable, situational hero power, such as Fire Blast, Reinforce, or Armor Up. There's a 33% chance that I'll get a specific hero power that I want, but I'm not pressed for a certain one, so the chances of me getting one I like are really high. We just entered turn 9. That means the cards that are going to change the board are going to be larger than those of earlier turns, having a larger impact and can be much scarier in low health situations. The Curator is a good legendary if your deck is built around it. You must have a variety of minion types to make him viable. Other than that, he poses a moderate taunt and good card draw for a late game taunt. It's too late in the game to be giving up board control for possible lethal. Without my steady shot, I'm forced to fight for the board back or suffer the damage. Without a heal in my deck, small minions can become a critical problem at my health. In Whispers of the Old Gods, Hunter gained a power card with Call of the Wild. It grants you a strong charge for removal or lethal, a board-wide attack buff, and a solid taunt that are all beasts for only 9 cost. Yeah, at the time this video was filmed, Blizzard hadn't nerfed Call of the Wild to 9 cost yet. Even though it was nerfed, it's still a solid, reliable late-game card. Both of us are sitting at approximately half health and are trying to force the other into either using too many cards, taking too much damage, or entering Fatigue first. If you aren't playing a control deck, whomever hits Fatigue first is signed up for a death sentence. It scales its damage each turn, making it incredibly dangerous. And also, you can't acquire any additional cards because there aren't any left in your deck to draw from. Analyzing your options is a critical skill all high-level players should engage in. Take your time to find all possible plays. Most plays will be pretty obvious, but using higher-level cards grants more options and more complex plays become available. Most players will make the mistake of rushing their turn. That means because they rushed, a crucial card may have been used instead of looking for an alternative play. Crucial cards that you don't want to waste can be those such as cheap effective removal spells, high-cost finisher minions, or cards that need to use their battlecry to be effective. When you are facing the rope, don't panic. Make the smartest play without rushing. The rope is intimidating in high-pressure situations, but the best players always stay unfazed. I have the upper hand with my Savannah Highmane, but I must finish the job. Animal Companion could provide 4 burst damage or an attack buff for all other minions, but without lethal this turn, I have to try to lock down the board to procure the victory within the next 2 to 3 turns. My board is solid and large enough to be lethal next turn. Even if he found a way to wipe the board, my Infested Wolf and Savannah Highmane would still add to my presence there. Now it comes down to how long he can avoid lethal, not if he can. It looks like I've got this game. For today, that's all. For tomorrow, I hope I'll be back. And I hope you will too. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Write down in the comments below what you want to learn about in the future. I play a lot of Hearthstone, so I'm available for comments. Thanks. See you in the next video.